What's up, everybody? I'm Slide, a movie guy, and here's where I rank all six Mission Impossible films from the worst to the best. And by the end of this video, let me know in the comment section down below where you rank all the six Mission Impossible films from the worst to the best, because my list is going to be different from yours, because we all have our favorite Mission Impossible films, because each and every one of them has a different, unique style when it comes to like having different directors directing the action and stuff, the suspense level, everything about it. I mean, we just gonna have different lists altogether. I mean, my number one is gonna be different from yours, number two, number three, all that stuff. And with all that being said, let's just get started. Mission Impossible 2. Now, after the first movie that was just so good, this one was just a step down. I mean, the things that really I think will hurt this film is the romance between Tom Cruise and Thaddeus Newton. It just didn't help the film out. It lasts like the first 20 minutes of the film, them having a little romance thing going on and chasing each other in cars. It just felt like a James Bond Golden Eye movie, which the whole movie a little bit felt like a action James Bond film with Ethan Hunt's character is totally different from the first movie, where he acts more like a playboy, like with James Bond character. And I just this does not feel like a Mission Impossible film. It's more like a James Bond film, and it shouldn't be like that. And this film is directed by John Woo. So this is a director that did Face Off, a film that I really like. So I highly recommend you checking that one out if you haven't seen it yet. So this was going to be like a lot of action going on in this movie, like a lot of action, in which the action stuff is really good. There's some great action scenes that was like, wow, this is fantastic. And then it gets to that slow motion stuff and zoom camera that John Woo always known for doing in his films. If you've seen Face Off, you know what I'm talking about. So it gets to that part where it's a bunch of explosion stuff. Some of, like I said, look good, but then when it comes to that slow motion stuff, it was done way too much in the movie, and it really took me out in so many levels. I mean, the romance and stuff didn't work, but the final act in the movie, I say, is the best part. I mean, with Tom Cruise fighting the villain, I can't remember the actor's name, but man, that fight scene had me on the edge of my seat. I mean, it was just so good. I mean, everything about it. I mean, with the knife that almost went inside Tom Cruise, it was just so fantastic. Everything about that was great. By the end of the day, this is the weakest film in the franchise. Mission Impossible 3. Now, I find this film very underrated. I mean, this came out in 2006, the same year with Superman Returns and X-Men Last Stand. Those films were disappointing. So when I was going to the movie theater, I was just kind of feared that this movie was going to be a letdown too. I was just like, oh my God, I hope not. And just because number 2 was just not that great. And I was just like, oh, hope number 3 is good. And I left out the movie theater like, wow, this is fantastic. I mean, it was one of those films that really surprised me, just like Casino Royale that came out in the same year with this film. So I was just so blown away how good it was. J.J. Abrams directed it. He did good with the action. I mean, and put you on the edge of your seat too. I mean, especially when you have the villain Seymour Hoffman that planted the charge in Tom Cruise's head. Oh, he was just so good as a villain. I mean, probably one of the best villains out of the Mission Impossible franchise alone. He was just so good. You felt that villain presence in this film. I mean, everything. I mean, I was actually feared that he was going to kill Tom Cruise. I mean, the character. I mean, it was just so intense. I mean, there was at the time where I didn't think we were going to even have a Mission Impossible 4. So there was the last film in franchise, and I was like, oh my God, is Tom Cruise going to die? I hope not. So it was just put me on the edge of my seat when he said, I planted the charge in your head. Remember I said I was going to kill you in front of her? Oh, he said some things in here that just put chills down your spine. What a villain that we've been missing out in recent films and stuff. I mean, it was just so good. And Michelle Monaghan was fantastic as the wife in this film, as Ethan Hunt's wife. She was fantastic on so many levels. I loved everything about her character. She does fantastic. Ving Rhames does great in this film versus the second one where they didn't do great with his character. But here he does fantastic. Everybody does great in this film. Lawrence Fishburne's, I mean, everything was good about this film. It was just the step in the right direction to Mission Impossible after number 2. But the only flaw I did have with this film is the character development wasn't there. And I might say another fall, the rabbit's foot kind of was like a thing. So it was like a little bit storylines things that was kind of clouded in this film. But I say the storyline was investing, but they done better with the character development, especially when it came to like Tom Cruise like training an IMF agent, the character that you see earlier on in the film. If they'd done a better job with that, I would have been more invested, and the villain. So, but hey, the film is fantastic. I think this is an underrated film. I highly recommend you checking this one out if you haven't seen it yet. Mission Impossible, the first film, came out in 1996. Wow, this film is absolutely fantastic. What makes it unique is it was so suspense. It didn't have a lot of action in it, and that's the one thing I love about this film. It was just so suspenseful. I mean, each thing where Ethan Hunt's character is kind of framed for like all the IMF team is falling down, like all of them died, and like he's the suspect of it, and he has to prove his innocence. All that stuff really works, especially that vault scene and stuff. That vault scene where he's like hanging out like this. That was just so fantastic. It was so good. It left this you kind of on edge of seat, didn't know what was gonna happen, like the sweat gonna drip and stuff. And I give credit to Brian De Palma. He directed this film, and it was just so good. I mean, Tom Cruise. This is the film where you felt like, wow, Tom Cruise is really an action star. It was like he was good. He was good in Top Gun, but here it really shows he can be the main star in an action film, and he does a fantastic job. Big Rames was like the first character, like introduction to our character, Luther. He was fantastic as the hacker. He's one of my favorite characters out of the franchise. I really like this character. I thought it was really good, and the train scene and stuff with the helicopter with Tom Cruise hanging on that train scene, it was just so good. All that was fantastic. I mean, with the gun thing, red light, green light, but in the beginning of the film, when the guy was showing him how to use the gun bomb, hasta lasagna, don't get any on you. Lock them up. It was really, all that was good. But when it came to the ending part with the music, where Tom Cruise get on a helicopter, boom, 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 red light, green light, and blocked it on the helicopter and then got off on it, and oh, that was good. I love this film. It's one of my favorite Mission Impossible films. I love it. I love the other ones. The other ones are a little bit better than this film, but man, this one holds a place in my heart, and I highly recommend you checking this film out if you haven't seen it yet. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. This was like one of my most anticipated films that year of 2015. I mean, I've seen the trailer like 20 times, and I'm like, wow, I got to go see this in the movie theater. And I went to the movie theater and left out really surprised. This film blew me away. I mean, this came out the same year as Mad Max Fury Road, a film I highly recommend you checking out if you haven't seen it yet. So it always be a battle between which action film I like, Mad Max or Rogue Nation. If a certain Rogue Nation comes to my mind, it was just so good. I mean, it was just fantastic from start to finish. I love Mad Max Fury Road, but Rogue Nation, I was just so blown away, surprised, because I was like, wow, the action stuff really was fantastic in this film. I mean, the motorcycle scene and work with Tom Cruise, I mean, it was just so great. I mean, I rewind that over and over again on DVD. It's just so fantastic from start to finish. I mean, everything about it. And this is directed by Christopher McQuarrie. So after like Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol that was directed by Brad Bird, I thought like, okay, what this new director going to show us, what kind of style he's going to bring in this film. And it absolutely works. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I mean, this is, man, everything about it. What I like what Christopher McQuarrie does in this film is add that suspense like the first film did. I mean, it just, you didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, with the syndicate that was messing with the IMF team, you didn't know if you didn't know that Tom Cruise and them was going to survive. You didn't know what was going to happen. Adding the addition of Rebecca Ferguson, that's a spy agent too, which you didn't know what side she's going to be on. Because at times you thought, okay, she's not on Tom Cruise's side. Oh, she is, and it kept going on. So you didn't know for sure what her character's about. And I thought she did a fantastic job. One of the best actors out of the Mission Impossible film series. She was fantastic. She's a fantastic actress anyway. I mean, the films like Doctor Sleep, she was absolutely fantastic as the villain in that film. Recommend that one too. She was so good. There's a lot of great things about Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I'm not gonna spoil so much about the film, but man, everything about it is great. The master villain left me shocked. I was like, oh, especially in one scene. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. It was just so good. Everything about Rogue Nation is fantastic. I highly recommend you checking this film out if you haven't seen it yet. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This was wow. This movie was just like after number three, this one was just like wow. This series is just getting better and better. I mean, it was just this is directed by Brad Bird, the guy that did Incredibles and Ratatouille. And it like when I heard that Brad Bird was directing this film, I was like, the guy that did Incredibles and Ratatouille, I don't know, a Pixar director, but hey, he proved me wrong. Let this man do a lot of action movies, please. He knocked this one out of the park. I mean, everything that scene where that Tom Cruise on that building and stuff with the suction cup thing, climb on side of the building and turn that camera angle. It just left you like, oh my God, is he gonna fall and stuff? And at moments where that thing didn't work and stuff, you thought Tom Cruise was gonna fall, and Tom Cruise did his own stunts, which he did in the other film. But man, this was like on the edge of your seat. You didn't know what was gonna happen. There's so many things that left you on the edge of your seat, because like when the mask thing where they making stuff so they can like disguise, that didn't work. So Brad Bird did a very unique style of making where all the gadgets just didn't work, and that made the film very interesting, because when things just didn't work like the IMF gadgets, I was like, oh, that what's gonna happen? So it was like each scene was just kind of like, oh, it gets very interesting every time, and I just like, wow. It just everything about it was good. I mean, Paula Patton was fantastic as the addition in this film. She blew me away. I didn't think like when they cast Paula Patton in this film, I was like, they cast another pretty face. Is she gonna do any good? But man, she did fantastic. I mean, on some level, Jeremy Renner does great in this film. Jeremy Renner did a fantastic job. I mean, I didn't expect that. I mean, I see him like in the Avengers in 2012. He did a fantastic job. I mean, I was just so blown away. And this came out where Captain America, Thor, and X-Men First Class, and those films were good. This one was just like, was on a whole nother level. This became like one of my favorite films of 2011. I was just like, wow. Brad Bird, you blew it away. Everything was good about it. But the one thing I do say I had an issue with this film is the villain, which you can say that for the other Mission Impossible film, except for 3. The villains are weak, and this one was like the villain was weak. If the villain wasn't as weak, I would have put it a little. This would have been my number one film if the villain wasn't weak. But hey, I enjoyed the film. This is a fantastic film. Please, I highly recommend you checking this one out. Mission Impossible Fallout. Woo! Yes. This until another Mission Impossible film come out, this is number one for me. I mean, this is one of my favorite Mission Impossible films. And this was one of the films I was actually feared of to be a disappointment. And this was coming out in 2018. And we had some good films in 2018, but there were some films that I was highly anticipated for that just let me down. So this was one of the films I was like, oh no, I hope it don't disappoint. And because of one thing, because the director that did Mission Impossible Rogue Nation was coming back directing this film. So I was just so feared, because all the Mission Impossible films had different directors and different styles. So after seeing a good Mission Impossible film, Rogue Nation, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, and him coming back to Fallout, I was like, I hope he don't do the same thing. What's he gonna do? What's kind of new stuff he's gonna do? So it was kind of risky. The same director doing back-to-back films. I was nervous about it. I was going to move there, like, the trailers look good. For the most part, the trailers look good, but I was just like, how the difference is gonna be? I mean, what is he gonna do? And Christopher McQuarrie, he proved me wrong. He blew me away. I left out the movie theater like, wow, one of the best action films of 2018. He knocked this one out of the park. I mean, this was totally different from Rogue Nation. I mean, I was kind of puzzled after I left the movie theater. I was like, did Christopher McQuarrie direct this film? I mean, it was just so different from Rogue Nation. I mean, on so many levels. I mean, everything was so good about this film. I mean, the bathroom action scene. Whoa, this one was just so good. I mean, on so many levels. I I mean, with Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise, that scene was just so good. I mean, I I rewind that scene over and over again. It was just so good. It was just so well choreographed. The camera work was so perfect. I mean, everything about that was great. Then the plot where they have to race against time to stop this bomb ticking thing, the nuclear thing, absolutely edge it on your seat. Everything, the motorcycle to the car action scenes, all that was good. The action scenes in this movie are so mind blowing, especially the helicopter scene. Whoo, whoo, that one was breathtaking. Oh my god, like sweat dripping, everything was so good about it. I remember like acting crazy in the movie when it got that scene where Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill battling in the helicopter scene. It was just so good. I was just like, oh my god, whoo! It was fantastic. Everything about it was so good. I mean, I loved every minute of it, and I loved it. And like I said, Henry Cavill was so good in this film. Angela Bassett, Vic Grimes as Luther, fantastic once again. One of my favorite character. As long as he keep playing this character, he's one of my favorite. He is just so good. This character is so funny. He adds something to these Mission Impossible films, and he added something to this film that I was just so happy because Ghost Protocol, he wasn't in it as much, and that was my issue. But man, since then he just been my favorite character in all the films. Man, he's just fantastic. Simon Pegg is great as the comic relief. He's really as good in this film. He just is not he's not annoying in this film. I mean, he's just so great. I love everything about it. Mission Impossible Fallout. You can check out my review on the channel. Click on the icon on top. Everything about this movie is fantastic from start to finish. I love everything about Mission Impossible Fallout. It's my number one favorite Mission Impossible film. And till another one, like I said, if another one come out, hey, this is number one for me. And I love every minute of this film. And that's pretty much it. Like I said in the beginning of this video, let me know in the comment section down below where you rank all 6 Mission Impossible films from the worst to the best. I would love to know thoughts and opinions, where you rank the films and stuff. Very curious about that, because this is one of my favorite franchise. I mean, the films keeps getting better and better, having different directors and their styles and all that stuff. I mean, Tom Cruise is fantastic doing his own stunts in these films. I mean, he's just fantastic. Everything. Let me know all that in the comment section down below. And if you're curious about other rankings on my channel, you can click on that circle icon on top. And that's pretty much it. And as always, if you like this video, click thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, click subscribe and the bell button for more future content. That's why I can see you next time on Sly the Movie Guy. Peace.